fast. But then I'm hearing that there are people running in fourth, they're burning up their rears. And that's what I was having a problem with. I would get really loose to where I couldn't drive on the bottom. But I would rip the fence and it would fly up there on the longer run. That's where I was getting really good success. But then other people talking about they're burning up their fronts. And I was like, apparently they're running in fifth gear and that burns the front up. So,
yeah, I run both.
Have you been shifting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright. I'm heading over to the other Discord. I'll see y'all. Have a good
All
one.
right.
Good luck, Kenny.
Yeah, man.
It's O'Rewards Member Appreciation Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Stop in today and check out store-wide savings plus earn double points on over 225 items. It's our way of saying thank you. If you're not already a member, sign up today during O'Rewards Member Appreciation Month. It's fast, easy, and free. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
It's O'Rewards Member Appreciation Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Stop in today and check out store-wide savings plus earn double points on over 225 items. It's our way of saying thank you. If you're not already a member, sign up today during O'Rewards Member Appreciation Month. It's fast, easy, and free. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You went, you served, and forged the relationships that only being baptized in the fire of combat can develop. At FallInVeteran.com, we understand the unique bond that veterans share. That's why we've created a platform where you can connect, share experiences, and build lifelong friendships with fellow veterans. Signing up is easy. Simply visit www.fall-in-veteran.com and create your profile. Customize it to reflect your military service, interests, and hobbies. FallInVeteran.com is more than just an online community. It's a support network where you can find resources, advice, and encouragement from those who understand what you've been through. Whether you're looking for camaraderie, mentorship, or simply a place to share your stories, FallInVeteran.com has it all. Join thousands of veterans who have already found their tribe and start connecting today. FallInVeteran.com. Come join us and experience the power of community. Sign up now at www.fall-in-veteran.com.
Hello and welcome everyone to the ISCA Super Cup Series. As we're getting ready to start the O'Reilly Auto Parts 250. Definitely an exciting race we have for us here tonight at Michigan International Speedway. We were just kind of looking at Randy Mullins' race car in the 54. Of course, definitely going to be an exciting one, but I kind of was taken aback here on the front of that race car. It says, wow, Randy is in the top 5 at Brian Britt. And a little bit of an emoticon thing of someone kind of, I guess, shocked that he's in the top 5. So making fun of me a little bit. He's making a little bit of fun of me. Isn't that kind of funny that he's doing that? To see that, usually, I tell you, Randy definitely gets a little upset with me by some of the things I say up here in the booth, but it's all in good jest and good fun. Big Al, how are you doing tonight? Of course, my name's Brian Britt, as you can clearly see on Randy's car. How are you doing, though, Big Al?
Hey, Big Al's doing pretty good, Brian. Excited to be back up in Michigan, man. This is gonna be an exciting race here. I think if this one plays out, it's gonna bring a little bit of everything, and I think everybody should stick around because this is gonna be a barn burner.
Yeah, no, you definitely don't want to go anywhere. This is going to be an entertaining race. I think really anybody can win it. I don't really know of anyone that's the favorite here tonight. I mean, this is Michigan. It's going to be almost it's going to be part super speedway, part mile and a half. I mean, tire saving is going to be important around this racetrack. Fuel saving is going to be a big deal at this racetrack. We got guys running in different gears. I mean, different setups. I mean, all kinds of different stuff. The draft's going to be a big deal, as well as trying to find clean air.
I mean, it's just going to be one of those any and everything salads, Brian. And that's what you truly break it down to be, because there are just so many variables. We're going to see who bought the best setup, who bought the fastest setup. Is it going to be a 4th gear setup? Is it going to be a 5th gear setup? Are you shifting? That's just too many questions, too many options.
Yeah, there will be some guys that probably will be doing some shifting for sure. But let's look at the details of tonight's race here for the ISCA. The O'Reilly Auto Parts 250. Of course, 125 laps here. This is a 2-mile racetrack, so that is, of course, 250 miles on the docket here tonight. Stages are set to end, I should say, at 25, going to 26. That'll be the conclusion of Stage 1. Stage 2, of course, will end at 55, going to 56. And, of course, looking at the tire sets we have available here tonight, it's going to be 6, I do believe, 5 actually down in the pits. So that 6 is including the one on the car after we get done qualifying, once we get gridded up. Of course, fuel window. This was a number that I was actually surprised to see, 46 laps on the fuel window. Now, I have talked to Kenny Powell. He's usually the originator of these fuel numbers. And he says it really just depends on what gear you're running in. If you're running a 5th gear setup, if you're running a gear, you're going to be able to save more gas. And that's where we get that 46 lap number. Now, if you're running in 4th gear, you're burning a lot more gas. The RPMs are a lot higher in that version of a car, and you're going to be running more fuel. So we're going to probably see more of a 35, maybe 40 lap run. So that's a big decision. If you have a long run, making it on fuel could be whether you run in 5th or 4th.
But who dictates that, Brian? That's the question, and I think it's the drivers going to dictate that, and that's going to be determined on whether or not old Leroy up there in the flag stand is going to be able to, eat his hot dogs or not. Because if they keep him busy, then the fuel mileage goes out the window. So these guys are going to have to drive good in order for that to become a factor. And hopefully, what are you thinking on the over/under on cautions?
I'll be honest, I don't really think we're going to have a lot of them. If I was to guess, I think we're going to have one caution based on an accident. I don't know what you think. Maybe, I think Michigan's actually usually a really clean race.
Okay.
What did you say, Big Al? You haven't told me your answer.
I might as well go with 2.
All right, what's our producer think? So our producer says 3. Now let's look. Of course, he's forcing us. He's just got the umbrella. And he's poking me. Read the standings, Brian. That's what our producer is saying right now. Of course, looking at it right now, Brandon Passalacqua, he has been Mr. Consistency. Top 5 after top 5 after top 5. And he's been doing fantastic. Of course, I do believe he didn't actually get a top 5 last week because he had some mistakes. Or should I say something happened on the racetrack that caused him some issues. But Brandon, of course, is in the points lead. He has a 90-point lead on Matt DeCiani, who's in second place. Of course, Brian Johnson, he's in third. Patrick Gitter sits fourth in the points. Derek Heitman is in fifth. Randy Mullins, who, of course, has that awesome paint scheme, he's in sixth place. John Schaffner is sitting seventh. I'll tell you, Josh has been heating up here lately. Tim Wortman Jr., he's been heating up. He's in eighth. Abner Acosta's back in action here tonight. He's going to be in ninth in the standings. And Kenny Powell, of course, rounds out the top 10. Quite a big point spread in the top 10 there. So going to see if anybody can maybe make some movement here in that points, or in those points. Of course, qualifying is wrapping up here very soon. At the moment, I do believe we're seeing the majority of drivers have already qualified, and I think that's not a surprise. Track position is going to be really important. Clean air is going to be really, really important. Being that leader, the pole sitter, is going to be really, really important. I can't wait to see what this is going to be all about, Big Al. I mean, fourth gear, fifth gear setups. We're going to see tire wear be a significant deal at this racetrack. Michigan's just a fun one, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and I think Clayton definitely took a page out of Clayton Hoffman's playbook on this one, because he qualified up front. He's on the pole. That means he's going to be out there trying to get it where the air is good. And the question is just how hard he's going to fight to keep that lead, man. Also, man, looks like we've got a full house here tonight. Man, a lot of drivers back. It's going to be an exciting one, man.
Yeah, for sure. And Clayton in an interesting paint scheme. Never seen him rocking orange paint scheme before. But let's go ahead and take a step away. We'll go ahead and pay some attention to our sponsors. But before that, of course, we'll play our national anthem as qualifying wraps up.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of and the home of the brave, the
Race fans, it is time for those most famous words in motorsports.
Remember when I told all my drivers, reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time? Drivers, start your engines!
O'Reilly.
It's O Rewards Member Appreciation Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Stop in today and check out store-wide savings, plus earn double points on over 225 items. It's our way of saying thank you. If you're not already a member, sign up today during O Rewards Member Appreciation Month. It's fast, easy, and free. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Welcome back, everybody, to the ISCA Super Cup Series. Of course, my name is Brian Britt. We welcome you. If you're just joining us, we're going to be tackling a race here at Michigan International Speedway, 250 miles, 125 laps around this 2-mile racetrack. And this is an awesome track. I tell you, this is just so much fun to race at. I mean, you're going to see some 3-wide action, possibly even 4-wide. There's room for it at this place. But I'll tell you what, tire wear is going to be a significant thing. You know, we'll see that super speedway style racing early, but we'll see it start to spread out later. Let's go ahead and go down through the running order here, though, and see exactly where everybody stands here. Clayton Hoffman, he's able to qualify on the pole, 38.7. That is an incredibly fast lap for that pole position. Of course, not too far back. Actually, looking at it, Clayton's actually a 10th or so faster than our second place qualifier, which is incredible. Randy Mullins, of course, he's qualified up in second. Wow, Randy's in the top 5. He's going to be starting on the outside pole. Of course, third place is going to be Tim Wortman Jr. Brandon Pasalacqua is going to be starting in fourth place. Ryan Huff, he's up in the top 5, starting fifth place. Abner Acosta, he's going to be starting in the sixth place position. Of course, Chris Johnson going to be starting in 7th place. Greg Carr in 8th place. Good qualifying position for him. Kendall LeVron back in the series. Glad to see him back in that 28 machine. He's going to be starting 9th. And 10th, Patrick Gitter.
Derek Heitman's going to be starting off in that 11th place. He's going to have Randy Drumhiller on his outside. Then we got Matthew Cisna in 13th with Josh the Iceman Cornman. Schaffner in 14th. 15th shows Greg Wojcinski. 16th, Kenny Powell. 17th is going to be Paul Hill. 18th is going to be Matt DeCiani. Nick King is going to be in 19th, and Jay Hone rounds out the top 20.
21st is going to be Alexander Carr. 22nd, Jason Maines. 23rd, Mark Sanchez. 24th, Brian Johnson. 25th, Jeffrey Souza. 26th, Jose Acosta. So the Acosta brothers both in action out here tonight. Derek Jacobs going to be in 27th. Paul Olson in 28th. John Bender in 29th. And, of course, Jose Medina rounds out this 30-car field. What a good number here tonight for Michigan. 30 cars set to try to tackle this 2-mile racetrack. And I think it's going to be a fun one for sure. Hopefully we'll get rolling here very, very soon. But who are you looking at, Big Al? I mean, who do you think this suits? I mean, we've had a long time to kind of watch a lot of these drivers, in our seasons past, and of course this season. Who stands out as this kind of track, that would do well here?
Well, number one, we got to get around this 4-wide first turn first, and then I'll let you know who my driver pick's going to be, because I think they're going to send it. They're going to send it hard because track position is going to be real dominant here. But I'm watching the kid. I'm watching the number 6 of Brandon Pasalacqua. He's going to be the guy that I'm going to put over there in the catbird seat to win this thing. But we're definitely back in the 92, Mr. Hoffman.
Yeah, I like that. I like the nod there, the Brandon Pasalacqua. I think that he is definitely one that we need to keep an eye on. I mean, he's so consistent. If he doesn't get involved in anything, I think he's going to be one that's in contention to win this thing. I mean, every week we see that driver up in the top 5, banging on the doors for podiums. I mean, and possible wins as well. And he's clearly the favorite for the championship at the moment when it comes to his points, I should say. But Clayton Hoffman, he also is a monster, a dominating force in the ISCA. I mean, this guy's got more wins than I think years I've been alive.
That's a true statement. But you know what, Brian? We also have a couple of pairs of brothers running tonight. Not only do we have Abner and a Jose, we've also got Brian and Chris Johnson back out here together. For the first time in a while. Good to have Brian back.
Yeah, no, Chris Johnson, good for him to be back for sure. The 56 machine, we're so excited to have him for sure. As well as, we got more family out there. Greg Carr and Alexander Carr, the uncle-nephew pair. So, you love to see that. ISCA is a family sport in a lot of ways. As we get ready to enter turn number 3, pace car going to be set to get on out of the way as Clayton and Hoffman, of course, is going to get us started for the first lap here. What can he do? Will he lead the first lap, or will someone else take it? I mean, Michigan, you absolutely never know what is going to happen on lap 1. We're getting ready to find out, though, as a lot of these drivers are going to be figuring out how their cars are going to handle, as we're going to be doing on 190 plus around Michigan. There goes the pace car down pit road as we get ready to enter the Geico restart zone. And Clayton Hoffman up through the gears, loud pedal pressed down, green flag is out. And already starting to fan out as Abner Acosta moves up to the top 3 wide, as well as Randy Mullins, trying to stay side by side with Clayton Hoffman. And already you see Tim Wortman Jr. getting a little bit of a better start than I'd say Randy Mullins as Clayton Hoffman moves up the track to secure that lead.
Wanting that 4 wide, not going to happen as the rest of the field starts to span out a little bit behind the leaders. Looking like they're trying to break that draft, but Clayton Hoffman is going to secure that going into the final first lap there. Sorry about that.
Yeah, 3 wide. You see, of course, Ryan Huff right there in the middle, as well as we see, I do believe, Patrick Gitter weaving his way through the field as he's already up to 5th place. What a job from Gitter. I mean, Gitter started in 10th. And he is already up in the top 5, up to 4th, challenging now for 3rd. Now actually 2nd. Mark that 2nd.
Yeah, Patrick Gitter's not going to waste any time to try to get up front where that air is clean. But you look at Clayton Hoffman, he is doing exactly what I predicted he was going to do, Brian. And that's trying to distance himself from the rest of the field. Now, just wondering what his strategy is going to be. Can he hold out, keep those tires cool?
Yeah, that's definitely interesting. This is not a track you really want to pull away. This is, on the longer run, yes, you can do that, and it can be successful. But I don't know if I want to be pulling away this early in the show. I mean, he's hitting lap times that are 0.3 of a second faster than the rest of the field. Now, we do know that Clayton is capable at other tracks. I mean, what was it, Indianapolis, I think it was, to where he was capable of pulling away and continuing to maintain that gap and build on it. So could it be that he's found something here at Michigan that has given him that ability as well? As we see, of course, Randy Mullins is slotted in that 2nd place position, about a 0.6 of a second gap now between him and the leader, Clayton Hoffman. Of course, Patrick Gitter, I think he's one of the biggest movers so far, up to 3rd already. We'll see what he's able to do. But last time by, I do want to mention Randy Mullins, I think with the fastest lap of the race, a 38.9. That's a qualifying lap.
Yeah, right. He's going to have to get those laps in early and fast, Brian, because right now we're getting a little bit of a breakaway there. I think right now that breakaway is going to start all the way back to the 8th car of Abner Acosta. He's going to be with Kendall LeBron, and these guys are still doodling it out, but looks like they're going to try to close the gap and get back up to the guys in front.
Now, one thing I talked about with our producer before we got going here tonight, before the broadcast even began, I said that there's going to be comers and goers here tonight. There's going to be guys that are going to be fast on the short run. They're going to drive all the way up to the front of the field, and then they're going to fall back into the chaos of the mid-pack. And I think that's going to be true. I think that there's going to be a lot of guys that are going to be incredibly fast early, but they're going to pay a big, hefty price, a penalty, if you will, later in this race when their tires are absolutely scorched.
Yeah,
I think we're going to see that.
Got a lot of beating and banging going on back here with Kenny Powell, Derek Heitman, and Nick King. These guys are fighting for battling what would be 14th position, or 13th position, should I say. Just got a little bit closer, just showing us a lot of racing going up there in the middle, Brian, which is making that air a lot more turbulent, I think, than these drivers are probably wanting.
Yeah, no, for sure. Turbulent air is not what you want at a track like Michigan. I mean, these corners are such wide, sweeping corners, and you want to have as clean an air as you possibly can. As we see Kendall LeBron in the midst of a battle with Ryan Huff right now. Very close battling between those two. It seemed like LeBron was getting a little bit tight on the a little bit on the now he's going to fire. He is, definitely struggling. Kendall LeBron with some major handling woes, has to get out of the gas. Almost took out Paul Hill. Luckily, Paul Hill was able to hold on to it.
Yeah, also had a little bit of a bobble there coming from the 28 car.
That's what I'm talking about, Kendall LeBron.
Yeah, had a little big moves for him going at the start-finish line there.
Yeah, I mean, he got into Paul Hill almost, there was definitely some contact there. Fortunately for Paul Hill, he was able to maintain and continue to move forward. But, yeah, Kendall seems like he's having troubles here early. Not sure if the car's just not suiting him at the moment. We got to keep in mind that a lot of these teams, a lot of these, setup guys that are driving setup shops, are used to A-opens or NIS conditions on the racetrack. And when you jump into the ISCA, it can be vastly different than what you see in the officials And that could be exactly what's going on with Kendall. As we see, I'll tell you one driver I'm really impressed with, Greg Carr, working his way up to 8th right now, battling, I do believe, with Abner Acosta. They are side by side in the midst of this fight. Looks like Abner's kind of stuck on the bottom. At the moment, it seems like the better line is the top line. You're able to kind of get the momentum on the exits.
Now, that's the same line that Clayton Hoffman and Randy Mullins been running by, and they're just slowly running away with this thing. And I was watching Mr. Carr also as he was staying up high, Brian, trying to stay out of the traffic, keeping himself up there in that good air, just a little bit away from the craziness, because we got a little bit of craziness going on down low.
Yeah, and one thing that, the track is quite hot. I do believe it's 116 degrees last time I looked at it, and that is quite a hot track.
Right now.
So I think it has gone down a little
on
bit.
The street, 80 degrees in the seats. I mean, and it's gone down 2 degrees from where we were at qualifying. That's a good sign for these drivers, just meaning that it is going to kind of cool down a little bit. That'll help out with the longevity of the tires as well.
Yeah, for sure. That definitely could help out quite a bit. As you can see, Randy Mullins really tracking down Clayton Hoffman. We're going to see a battle for the lead possibly. But look at the gap between second and now third. I mean, 1.3 seconds. That is massive at a track like Michigan. I mean, they have completely separated themselves from the rest of the pack. Now, I don't know if it's going to last for long, though, because, you can see that Patrick Gitter is starting to generate some speed, a little bit more speed than Randy Mullins, and the gap is starting to decrease. The only thing is, though, is if Clayton and Randy can stay in line. That's it. If I was in Randy and Clayton's shoes, I would be talking to each other and saying, hey, let's just stay in line. Let's not battle each other. Because if Patrick and Brandon and Tim Wortman Jr. and Josh Shopner, all these guys, if they start battling each other, they're not going to be able to catch Clayton and Randy.
Yeah, they only got to make it last another 15 laps. I mean, they're going to be in the clear, I promise.
And that, of course, what you're referring to is the end of stage number 1.
Yeah, absolutely.
Welcome back to Chris Johnson, though. Glad to have him back. He's doing really well for his return back to the series, up to 7th right now, followed right behind by Greg Carr.
Yeah, that is a good run for Chris.
And Abner Acosta, though, has been falling back and back. Of course, he qualified, I do believe, up in the top 10. He's now back, I do believe, in 13th at the moment, getting passed by Kendall LeVron. LeVron, of course, driving up to the back end of Kenny Powell. So it looks like LeVron has gotten that car a little bit better handling right now. A lot of drivers are going to have cars that maybe don't handle as good on the long runs, or short runs, I should say, and get better as the run goes on. And that could be what's going on there with the 28.
Two drivers that are definitely going to have to team up if they're going to want to make any headway. That's going to be Patrick Gitter and Brandon Passalacqua. These two are going to have to definitely figure out how to make that draft work and suck in the tandem of Clayton Hoffman and Randy Mullins. And they should be doing that like it's go time now, right?
Yeah, for sure. Just saw a big handling woe there from Kenny Powell. Powell just got loose on the exit of turn 4, but you're exactly right. I agree totally. Patrick Gitter has got to work with Brandon, and Brandon has got to try to push him on the straightaways to kind of try to cut this gap down between the 92 and the 54. But the thing is I think that it's kind of automatically happening in a lot of ways, because Clayton and Randy are slowing down, and I think it's because they maybe overheated the tires. Very easy to overextend here.
And to that point, Brian, I think this has really kind of shocked a lot of drivers, because you don't usually get this at Michigan. What these guys really stepped big trouble there. That's going to be.
And this is a big accident here.
LeBron got really loose right there, bouncing to the wall, came back into, I believe, the 28 car.
The 28 is Kendall LeBron.
Once again, sorry, Brian.
So I'm not sure. Well, let's look at the
colors.
Let's take a look and see exactly what happened here. And you see Kendall was running behind Huff. And yeah, I think you're right. I think there was a loose condition. It was Alexander Carr in the 18. I think had a little bit of contact
with
Kendall. We're gonna have to take another look at this, because this is gonna be one we're gonna have to really try to analyze, because it seems like can't see there. It looks like Kendall, I think, does get loose and kind of comes up in front of Alexander Carr. Carr had gotten a run.
Or did Alexander get into Kendall?
I don't know. We'd have to take a little bit of a different angle here to see exactly what happened. If we could take maybe a far chase camera angle to kind of see if we can. There we go, to kind of get a little bit of a more of a head, a little bit of a top-down view, see exactly what happened here. You can see Kendall. I think this all kind of started when Kendall had to check up for Ryan Huff. He tried to avoid Huff's rear end, and unfortunately,
this car got into him.
Yeah, it looks Carr definitely got into the 28, and I think it was just because Kendall was he had to get out of the gas to avoid Ryan Huff and got a little bit loose. I think a lot of times with this racetrack, if you get off the gas at all, it unsettles the car, and I think that's exactly what happened right there. And unfortunately, one of the people that paid the price here was Kenny Powell. Powell absolutely just went into this. Yep.
Casualties of that conflict were Nick King in the 3 car, Odds in the car, and the 18 car in 24 of Kenny Powell. All of these guys have that dreaded repairs required flag, Brian, and you can definitely see the damage on that 24 car Kenny Powell. I think he's going to be behind the wall for a while.
And that's unfortunate. And you see a lot of drivers electing to stay out after that caution as well. So interesting strategy decisions going on as well.
What I was saying. What I was saying.
Clayton Hoffman and Randy Mullins. We can't talk at the same time, Big Al.
What I was saying before that caution came out is these guys were entering into something that was unique because it was literally a 25-lap shootout, and they were running as hard as they could. Guys weren't having the ability to run their own race. You literally had to keep your foot in it and keep up with the pack for fear of being left behind.
Yeah, no, 100%. No, for sure. I mean, these guys had to try to run as hard as they could. And you always talk about it as well, that they had to put the car through the paces as well to see exactly what it would do, so that way they can make the necessary adjustments and also know maybe how to drive it a little bit more conservatively. But, yeah, big decisions on pit road. Clayton Hoffman and Randy Mullins, who were out front, they have elected to come down pit road, grab a set of tires. Now, tires are a limited resource here tonight. I mean, these guys have 5 sets down in the pits, and now they've just used one of them. So I'm kind of on the train of thought of I would want to stay out here. I think Patrick and those guys made the right decision.
Yeah, but see, when you're looking at how hard Clayton and Mr. Mullins have been running, I don't think they really had a choice. I think they kind of literally burned their stuff up. It's going to be interesting to see what people do here in 7 laps when we're at that first stage break.
Yeah, no, for sure. Now, if I'm in Clayton's shoes and Randy Mullins' shoes, I'm staying out at the end of stage 1 because, I mean, you've already kind of went off strategy a little bit. You kind of have to save that set, or maybe not. I mean, it just really depends on how the cautions fall here. Now, I do want to mention we did talk at the top of the broadcast about over-unders on cautions. I said 1 caution based on accident. We're at that right now. Do we see another one based on a crash?
Absolutely. I mean, and when you said that, I was like, yeah, these guys are going to be racy. And they have literally been racy from the front all the way to the tail of this thing. And that accident itself occurred somewhere around, I believe 14th, 15th position at the time. So that just goes to show it's not necessarily going to be what's going on at the front. We're going to have to watch this thing throughout the entire field.
Yeah, no, there's definitely there could be something that happens anywhere. I mean, everyone's hungry for positions. We got to realize as well we're getting closer and closer to the end of this season. Into the closer to the end of the regular season, we're going to have to go into the playoffs, and you want to have as many points as you possibly can going into this championship. And I think that's exactly what we're seeing here. Guys are getting a little bit more desperate, and they're willing to do anything to get track position. As here we go, Patrick Gitter going to be up through the gears. Green flag is out for the second time, and already guys jumping out 3 wide. Uh-oh. And I do believe that is, if I'm not mistaken, Josh Schaffner up on the top side.
The Miller Lite car totally missed the shift, and he just descended through the field.
And look at this. Already you're seeing the old tires struggling. I mean, Tim Wortman Jr., very slow right now on that start. 4 wide contact. As you see the 56 of Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson going through and just barely. We're almost 5 wide right now.
There's your 4 wide.
And this is just absolutely crazy, absolute pandemonium here at Michigan International. We are now 4 wide again. I mean, how is this not devolved into a crash? They're somehow holding this together.
This is a dogfight. These guys are definitely trying to do what they can to get to those stage points. Got a lot of guys on fresh tires trying to battle their way through the field. But nobody's going to sit back and let it go. Up front now, starting to get a little single file, but in the back, the 92 Clayton Powell, he's still Clayton Hoffman, he's still way down on the inside, Brian.
I'm like, who's Clayton Powell? Yeah, no, Clayton has kind of, in a lot of ways, got stuck on the bottom. Clayton got stuck on the bottom to where he could not move. It's just hard to get a run down there. And we saw like guys like Matt DeCiani, running the top side. They were able to fly around guys on that top side because that's where you get the momentum at. It's almost like you're shot out of a cannon. As Patrick Eder, though, is still in control of the lead so far.
We're just 5
Paul
laps
Hill
to go
in second. Derek Heitman in third.
With just 5 laps to go on this stage, he's going to be doing everything he can to preserve that lead, keep it going. And this rattles me back to what Kenny Powell said. He was in the booth right before the race started. He said he was dreading this race, Brian. As the 4 car gets loose, Matt DeCiani into the wall, going to keep it straight. But Kenny Powell said he was dreading this race because he had been wrecked every time he had raced here at Michigan so far this week.
Yeah, no, he did. He said exactly that. I mean, I was in here whenever he said that, and I think I told him, I'm like, hopefully this race is not that way. And unfortunately, it is exactly that way. He did get caught up in another crash, and that's just it's unfortunate for him. He is 10th in the point standings at the moment, and he's going to be hoping that he can hold on to that. As of course the battle is on. Here comes Brandon Pasalacqua, and I think he's on newer tires. As he, of course, followed by teammate Randy Mullins as well as Josh Schaffner. You see Paradigm trying to get the paradigm shift right now, trying to get these points. And we've talked to Brandon before. Pasalacqua has said that his priority is stage points. And clearly that was what he did here by taking those tires.
Yep, and right now he's putting himself in the best position he can be. And if he's able to actually close that gap right now, 3 laps to go on stage at the line.
But look who, even though Clayton Hoffman had got stuck on the bottom further back, he's now banging on the back door of the top 5 as well. So the 92, he is not done yet.
Yeah, he definitely had to get himself out of that calamity of errors, which is in the rear back there. And I think a lot of guys are going to be making their strategy based on the beating and banging that's going on towards mid-backpack, mid-rear.
Yeah, I think this is definitely going to be a time where a lot of drivers are going to be doing a lot of learning, a lot of figuring out what works, what doesn't, what strategies can we use. And, tires are going to be very, very important. Clearly, they're very important considering, Randy Mullins, Brandon Pasalacqua were able to drive to the front with those new tires. Randy Mullins racing his teammate now, trying to go for his own stage points. I think, Big Al, Randy wants to jump up here and talk to me and probably talk a little mess to me.
He might. But, it's a big deal between, this race and the A Open. These guys are racing for stage points, especially this late in the season. That is what everybody has got to have in their mind. As leaders should be coming to the line for the white flag.
Yeah, white flag is getting ready to be waving here momentarily as Randy Mullins is in the lead at the moment. Can he win this stage? And of course, Randy, he's 6th in the points right now. He wants to be better than that. He wants to go higher up in those stage points or in the championship standings. Randy's got something to prove here. As here comes to the inside, Brandon Pasalacqua, as the white flag is waving. Who is going to win stage number 2?
I believe
what a tremendous run.
Randy Mullins is going to be having that run right now, trying to close the door. I think he's going to be able to get it done.
But here comes Clayton Hoffman. Can Clayton, if he can get above Randy, I don't think Randy's going to give him that high line. If you get the high line here, you're going to be able to have such momentum. But I think it is going to be that. Randy Mullins, your stage 1 winner. And Randy, starting up front in the second place position, has shown that he has a very fast race car here tonight. And he's going to show it by putting that thing in victory lane for stage number 1. Clayton Hoffman comes home second. Brandon Postelak with third, John Schaffner fourth, Ryan Huff in fifth. Good job for him. Derek Heitman sixth, Patrick Gitter seventh, Jason Maines up to eighth, Brian Johnson in ninth, and Paul Hill in 10th. With that, we're going to take a step away. We'll be right back, and we'll talk to, you guessed it, Randy Mullen.
You went, you served, and forged the relationships that only being baptized in the fire of combat can develop. At FallInVeteran.com, we understand the unique bond that veterans share. That's why we've created a platform where you can connect, share experiences, and build lifelong friendships with fellow veterans. Signing up is easy. Simply visit www.fall-in-veteran.com and create your profile. Customize it to reflect your military service interests and hobbies. FallInVeteran.com is more than just an online community. It's a support network where you can find resources, advice, and encouragement from those who understand what you've been through. Whether you're looking for camaraderie, mentorship, or simply a place to share your stories, FallInVeteran.com has it all. Join thousands of veterans who have already found their tribe and start connecting today. FallInVeteran.com. Come join us and experience the power of community. Sign up now at www.fall-in-veteran.com.
O'Reilly.
It's O'Rewards Member Appreciation Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Stop in today and check out store-wide savings plus earn double points on over 225 items. It's our way of saying thank you. If you're not already a member, sign up today during O'Rewards Member Appreciation Month. It's fast, easy, and free. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the ISCA Super Cup Series. We hated to cut that ad short, but unfortunately we got a little bit limited of time here to be able to talk to our Stage 1 winner. And we're going to pull him up. Randy Mullins. Randy, yeah, I saw that race car. I saw the paint scheme. How are you, though? You got that thing in victory lane for Stage 1. I mean, did you win Stage 1 just to talk to me and talk some trash or what?
I mean, a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then. I ain't never up here, so I just I got lucky and fell into one, I guess.
Whatever, Randy. I mean, I saw that paint scheme and I just was tickled when I saw that. I was like, what? I must have. Did I say that in a broadcast or something?
Yeah. It's like you're surprised that I'm up here. But I've been 5th, 6th in the points all year, so I just wanted to send you a little reminder. That's all.
No, I know you're fast, Randy. Don't you doubt. I know you're fast. It's just you've had a tremendous level of competition out there, and you can't deny that.
No, there ain't no denying that. Hoffman and Gitter, DeCiani, Heitman, Postelak. I mean, the field's stacked. So yeah, it's very tough.
How did you prepare for today? I know you ain't got a whole lot of time before you go green. Can you give us a little bit of your preparation process?
Man, me and Brandon and all the guys, we put in a lot of time this week and just kept tuning on it. The car's good at the first 10 laps, and then it's good after 25. I go through a stage for about 10 laps that it's a little free, but then it comes back to me. So we made an adjustment. We'll see what happens going forward.
All right, quick shout-outs before we let you go.
You guys up in the booth, Kenny for putting on the league, and all my guys at Paradigm.
All right, Randy. We'll see you hopefully at the end of this thing.
All right, buddy.
See, I love that old Randy Mullins. Definitely a good sport. I'm interested to see what the rest of this race looks like, considering Stage 2 is on deck, ladies and gentlemen. We got Jeffrey Souza and Jay Hone, I do believe, starting up on the front row.
Let me watch it, Jay Hone. He actually missed the shifter on that last restart. Hopefully he'll get it off clean this time.
And also, I do want to mention, both of these guys are not on 4 tires. Souza, I do believe, took no tires, while Hone, I do believe, took 2 tires, if I'm not mistaken. And Hone, of course, missing his shift again, not able to get up through the gears again, and that checks up quite a bit of the field. What is this going to do? Is his tires good enough to be able to hold on, as he just made a desperate call for track position? Randy Mullins trying to hold off Patrick Gitter.
We're showing Jeffrey Sousa taking a 4-stack, but you're absolutely right on Jay Hone as he continues to slide back. It looks like he only took 2.
Are you sure? Because I'm showing Sousa taking 9.7 seconds in the box. So that might have been a 2-tire stop there for Sousa. I mean, I might be wrong, but I mean, that's what my telemetry is saying. I mean, what's yours saying?
13.9.
13. See, that's different. So if he did take 4,
but
the only reason I would think he took 4, or the reason I think he took 2 as well, is that he somehow got into the lead.
And you're right, and Sousa's always been the two-ton bandit, you know what I mean? He's always the guy that's kind of trying different things.
So, I mean, we'll definitely, I guess the jury's not in on whether he took 2 tires or not. But we'll have to see how this kind of works out for him. He definitely did something to get all this track position. As, of course, he is holding on to it right now, sitting in 3rd. Of course, Jeffrey holding off John Schofter and Clayton Hoffman, who are not slouches at all. Jay Hone, of course, trying to, I guess, catch himself after that mistake on the restart. That's something he's going to have to work on. You do not want to mess up a restart here at Richmond or Michigan.
Yeah, like I said, he's 2 for right there on restart so far tonight. So he's definitely, those teams would have to figure out what's going on in the gears just to be able to get that thing up, because they lost tremendous momentum. And plus, it sends such a shockwave through the field that it's just not what we need here right now.
I do also want to mention that, Sousa, if he did take 2 tires, it's not actually that terrible of a call, considering they had just pitted, I do believe, the race car on that last caution for cons. And that actually makes a 2-tire stop a little bit more viable of a decision, as we see Clayton Hoffman driving it in deep, trying to get some positions here off of turn number 2. We see Kenny Powell, of course, the lap car, coming up in on the screen here as well. We'll see. Hopefully he gets out of the way.
Patrick Gitter was out there putting he has a screwdriver in his hand, so definitely Randy is feeling the pressure of that. Plus, you got Clayton Hoffman to boot. Kenny's going to be the wild card in this. Think he's going to get out of the way. I hope so. Maybe they'll get by him before turn 1. Otherwise, looks like we're going to have ourselves another 4-car situation.
Yeah, this could definitely be a scary situation right here. Kenny, he's off the pace. He's missing his front bumper. He's going to try to stay low, and I think that's going to be just good enough. I mean, as long as he runs a predictable line, it's their responsibility to try to get by him, as, of course, Randy Mullins and Clayton Hoffman duking it out for that second-place position.
Yeah, right now, Brian, these 3 drivers are doing everything they can to try to figure out how to best each other. This thing's been longer than the last. So, like I said, you come into these 25, 30-lap shootouts, and that's really, it wears those tires out a little bit faster than if drivers were just being conservative waiting on the next pit cycle.
Yeah, of course, this one goes to, I do believe, lap 55 to 56. So we do have a little bit of a longer stage here, as everybody's still trying to kind of navigate their way around Kenny Powell, who is a little bit slower. I'm glad to see Powell not completely giving up on this race. I mean, you have something just tragic like that happen. You could just give up. Very easy to do, but he knows points are on the line. He needs points. He cannot afford to just give up. He needs some more drivers to have a bad night. As we see side by side now for the lead. Of course, pole sitter Clayton Hoffman trying to get by Patrick Gitter, but Patrick Gitter's car seems to just love the clean air.
Yeah, absolutely. That 21 car, once he got up front, he definitely took the position like he was going to just dig in and stay there for a while. Now, we know how important that clean air is, so he is truly demonstrating that, Brian, because he's going to get the best of the tire situation, because the easiest time to pass is going to be within the first 5 laps of the run, I think.
I love what I'm seeing a little bit further back. I'm seeing Paul Hill working, I do believe, with Matt DeCiani. Now, Paul and Matt have been working together for a little bit of time, but Matt he hit Paul Hill in the rear end on the back stretch, trying to push him to go faster. I love that these teammates are trying to almost bump draft each other down the straightaways, but it looks like they have stopped. I think Matt says, "Hey, I got to go by you, brother. I can't hang out behind you too long." as he's going to send it on Paul Hill, and they're, of course, sitting behind Jason Maines. This is right on the edge, pretty much. This is at the top 10 bubble. Of course, Patrick Gitter in control of the race right now. Not a whole lot of separation in the top 10. And you can see, one thing I'm noticing, though, is a lot of drivers searching for air. Even in the straightaways, you want to be in the draft. You want to follow in that guy's tire tracks on the straightaway because that's where you get that speed boost. But in the corner, you see everybody kind of finds their own line. You do not find anyone really running that same line because they need that clean air to help that car turn.
Oh, yeah. Plus, you got different braking points going into the corners as well. And when you're going into the turns, especially at a track like Michigan, you got to let your momentum really kind of guide you through that turn. So some of these guys are a little bit better at bending that angle than others.
Yeah, and that's why that bending that angle is exactly what you don't want to bend it too much. You want to be able to kind of run a straighter line, a wide arc through the corner. That's kind of the most important thing about this racetrack. And that's why you see that top line really work so well at this place, because you're able to just, kind of keep the car a little bit straighter, not have to turn the wheel as much, the tires don't slide as much, and you're able to really just, problems, Jason Maines and Matt DeCiani.
Chasing each other down through the infield, but looks like they're both going to come back up. Hopefully they'll maintain no caution as they were off the racing surface.
We're going to take a replay of this, and this is definitely a dramatic thing. It could have easily turned into a worse crash than it was. You'll see that these guys kind of contact. Maines comes down the track on the backstretch into the one of Matt DeCiani, and nothing Matt could have done. I mean, Matt was holding his line. It's just Jason. I don't think Jason thought he was clear. I think Jason did not realize that Matt was underneath him. That's the best thing I could think. I mean, because I think he was trying to make a run to the inside of Paul Hill, I do believe. But that of course cost DeCiani and Maines some positions. They were running up in, I do believe, around the top 10 positions. Now they're back in 14th and 15th.
Yeah, Maines being relatively new to this series, not new to iRacing, but he actually got a little bit of a whoopsie last week as well. So we're going to be monitoring him as well, just making certain that he can actually see 360 around that hot rod he's driving.
Yeah, I mean, Jason Maines, of course, definitely a very fast driver, but he has, he did make some mistakes, I do believe, last week from what we called. I know we, didn't probably mean to do anything, but, Richmond is a kind of a short track, and we're here at Michigan, though. Hopefully nothing spills over into this racetrack here, but it looks like I think Matt and Jason probably going to let bygones be bygones. I know they probably raced each other before in the A Opens as well as the NISs.
Yeah, it really
Patrick Gitter right now in control.
Yeah, it truly seemed like a racing incident, Brian. I wasn't implying that there was anything malicious. But look at the leaders, though. They're trying to do everything they can. And I'm telling you, it might look like it's calm, but it's just like the little duck feet underneath the surface, man. These guys are really, they're bending. They're trying to do everything they can to get the advantage. You can tell that Clayton Hoffman does not want to be behind the 21 of Gitter.
No, definitely not. He wants to get that clean air, and you can clearly see that's what he's going for. I just saw Randy Mullins hit the wall coming out of turn number 2, and that has kind of caused a two-car breakaway. You see Josh Schaffner, Jeffrey Souza right there on the back end of the 54, so Randy needs to be careful. It seems like that car is getting a little bit tight. Now, he did say something about that car kind of going through phases. So we'll see. Hopefully that car will loosen back up here, and he'll be able to drive it a little bit easier. It looks like he is holding on to third, but he is unfortunately losing a little bit of track of the top 2. And, of course, we're on lap 43, coming to 44. This stage 2 will end on lap 55, going to 56. As, of course, Souza still trying to hold on, as he did, I do believe, from what my knowledge is, he took a 2-tire stop. Brandon Pasalacqua, though, now going to be trying to enter the top 5. He's got the top side, and that should be the more successful line. He should be able to get the exit speed to pass Souza. And that's going to make a really challenge for the lead. Clayton Hoffman went side by side there for a moment there, and they are now side by side in 3 and 4.
Yeah, Clayton's be doing everything he can to get that to achieve the dominant position right now. He has his eyes set on that bottom line. Here they come side by side for the drag race. Will Clayton be able to actually hold it off? I think it's too soon to tell right now. 21 of Patrick Gitter still having his way with it on the high side. This battle's definitely going to go all the way to the stripe. As these two are just truly, they're just battling it out, Brian, and we see just ahead of them is a 24 car Kenny Powell. Looks like Clayton's going to back off the chase, man, and Gitter's going to still take the lead.
Kenny again? I mean, didn't we just see Kenny Powell getting put a lap down? So it looks like he must be well off the pace here, and that's just unfortunate for Powell. But Clayton trying to use that bottom side. He seems like he's got speed down there, but just not enough. I mean, Gitter is able to really get the momentum off of the corner, and I think that's just what's hurting Clayton right now. So Gitter seems to have the dominant position. He seems to be able to dictate what Clayton does. Now, does Clayton try to go to the top and maybe see if he can maybe make something happen on that top line? I don't think Gitter's going to give it to him.
I think we're definitely seeing how valuable track position is in exactly what Clayton Hoffman is going to do to get it. I mean, he is truly showing his hand, being that he is better up front. And I'm telling you, had that caution not come out in the last stage, I think it would have been a completely different story.
Seeing a lot of battling further back. I mean, Kendall LeVron was fighting really hard with Derek Heitman. They're fighting for 8th place. Of course, Kendall seems to have the speed up on the high side, but look at Greg Carr. Carr, woo, really loose condition from Paul Hill as well as Kendall LeVron. Carr almost gets into. He is pushing the 28. I'd be a little bit worried if I was in Kendall's shoes because, I mean, it looks like Carr maybe means a little bit of business. I would maybe be thinking about letting that driver go. As we see now a change for the lead. Clayton Hoffman has taken over the lead.
Now,
here's like new leader.
This question for you, just how hard is Patrick Gitter going to fight to get it back?
I don't know if he's going to be able to fight too particularly hard. We'll see. Clayton didn't get that position because he was pretty, because Patrick was pretty. Oh, there goes Greg down the racetrack. One thing I'm noticing, Big Al, and I don't know if you're noticing as well, some guys are starting to have some handling conditions. Some guys are not handling really good right now. Look at the fall off. Over a second right now will fall off. Is someone slow? Was that somebody slow in the middle of the track I just saw?
Like I said, it's really different compared to the A Open. In the A Open, guys are just out there, they're running, they're trying to be conservative, trying to save tires to the pit cycle. These guys are just inadvertently being thrust into a situation where they're just having to go all out for track position.
Yeah, Randy Mullins, he's one that's really struggling right now with his race car, falling back now, I do believe, to 7th, as he's now getting passed by Brian Johnson. You see, of course, Brandon Pasalaqua's gotten by him. Jeffrey Souza, he's holding on to it really well up in the top 5, but you're seeing a lot of guys are starting to struggle. Lap times are falling off significantly for a lot of these drivers.
But Randy's going to have to keep it together, though, Brian, because he can't afford to have a great stage and then a crappy stage. He has still got to be somewhere fair to middling in this stage in order to make it work because he doesn't want to keep slipping away. Kenny Powell's another driver that's pulling that big whoop tonight because, man, it's definitely not going to do good for his point situation in the playoffs as well.
Yeah, 100%. I think I saw Abner Acosta losing some spots. He's back in 16th. So some drivers are struggling more than others.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I expected truly to see Abner way more towards the front of this pack here, at least by now. I don't know. Maybe he's not really worried about stage points. I believe he's currently like 7th or 8th in the playoffs. But maybe he's worried about finishing. But still, I'm waiting to see Mr. Acosta come alive here.
Yeah, that's a good, and even Jose, we really haven't seen. I thought this would be a track that Jose would really succeed at. I mean, very fast kind of racetrack where, you can really make passes and things like that. But we really haven't seen the Acosta brothers up towards the front here yet tonight. Derek Heitman, though, making a big move here, moving up to, I do believe, the 6th place position possibly. No, he's still in the battle for 6th, fighting with Jeffrey Souza at the moment, and I do believe we're coming up now next time by 3 laps to go in stage number 2. Clayton Hoffman, our pole sitter, who started on the front row, is now up there once again. He's in the lead and in command right now. He is one of the fastest cars on the racetrack.
Look at him trying to break that draft. Patrick Gitter just tried to reel him in. I mean, he is literally snuffing. He's like a bloodhound on Clayton's trail, but Clayton is just running for the hills.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that Gitter is desperately trying to hang on.
Big whoops right there by one of the paradigm drivers. Gets up into the outside wall.
I think that was Chris Johnson. I think you might have saw.
Johnson it was.
Yeah, Chris, of course, losing a lot of positions here. Falls back to 20th.
And I think that's just another one of those situations of just degradation of tire wear. So we're slowly trying to get this one in the books. Just 2 laps left.
Yeah, one thing I didn't mention, earlier, we talked about, of course, the fuel differences when it comes to running in 4th or 5th gear, depending on what gear you're running in. That also can affect your tire wear. If you're running in 5th gear, you're probably going to be wearing the front tires. If you're running in 4th gear, you're going to be wearing the rears. Because, of course, 4th gear is higher RPM. You're going to spin the tire a little bit more. So that's another, issue there. As we're seeing, I'm watching Kendall LeVron racing for, I do believe, the 8th place position. Just got by Jeffrey Souza. Souza seems to be struggling a little bit more here as LeVron tries to hunt Paul Hill. Of course, white flag getting ready to come out here momentarily. We see, I do believe, John Schaffner under fire by his teammates. Schaffner seems to be struggling a little bit here on this longer run.
The 83 gets a little bit of a love tap there. The 93, sorry. Clayton Huff.
Ryan Huff.
Got a little bit of a love tap.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of love between these drivers out here tonight. As we are definitely, look at this. These guys chasing each other down the racetrack. I have never seen anything like that before.
Yeah.
As Clayton Hoffman was trying to break the draft, and he went all the way down to the apron to do it.
Oh, well, we actually saw that even with the NASCAR a couple of years ago. Those guys will do anything to try to break the draft, especially at this particular track. Caution is out. That does mean that Stage 2 is in the books. Got to give it up to Stage 2 winner, Clayton Hoffman.
Yep, Clayton Hoffman, your Stage 2 winner. Patrick Gitter, 2nd place. Brandon Pasalacqua, 3rd. Brian Johnson in 4th. John Schaffner, 5th. Derek Heitman, 6th. Kendall LeVron, 7th. Jeffrey Souza in 8th. Paul Hill, 9th. And Greg Carr rounds out the top 10. Those are, of course, the points-paying positions for Stage 2. We're going to take a step away. We'll be right back, and we'll talk to Clayton.
It's O'Rewards Member Appreciation Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Stop in today and check out store-wide savings plus earn double points on over 225 items. It's our way of saying thank you. If you're not already a member, sign up today during O'Rewards Member Appreciation Month. It's fast, easy, and free. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You went, you served, and forged the relationships that only being baptized in the fire of combat can develop. At FallInVeteran.com, we understand the unique bond that veterans share. That's why we've created a platform where you can connect, share experiences, and build lifelong friendships with fellow veterans. Signing up is easy. Simply visit www.fall-in-veteran.com and create your profile. Customize it to reflect your military service, interests, and hobbies. FallInVeteran.com is more than just an online community. It's a support network where you can find resources, advice, and encouragement from those who understand what you've been through. Whether you're looking for camaraderie, mentorship, or simply a place to share your stories, FallInVeteran.com has it all. Join thousands of veterans who have already found their tribe and start connecting today. FallInVeteran.com. Come join us and experience the power of community. Sign up now at www.fall-in-veteran.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the ISCA Super Cup Series. Of course, we just saw the completion of Stage 2, and usually I give Big Al the opportunity to pick who he wants to interview. Big Al, I said Clayton. Who do you want to talk to?
Clayton Hoffman.
Okay, Clayton Hoffman, it is. Let's see if we can't find him first. And there we go. We got him. Had to hunt him down. He was hidden.
Clayton Hoffman, Big Al up in the booth. You got me.
Yes, sir.
Hey, once again, boss, congratulations for your Stage 2 victory.
Thank you.
I mean, what's it been like down there?
It's been kind of wild there, especially with that caution in the middle of Stage 1. You know, it's trying to rip the bottom, and a lot of guys that were on old tires decided they were going to try that too. So I had to, you know, go around more people, and then didn't start at, you know, the very front for Stage 2, but, you know, I had some good racing up there with those Paradigm guys, and Patrick and Derek is up there for a second, so it's been fun. This track is probably one of my more liked tracks. I mean, it's a super speedway type track where you know, you can have a lot of fun, race 2, 3, go 4 wide, but, you know, the moment, you know, something goes wrong, you have a big wreck like the super speedways, and then it's not fun anymore when you get junked. But I don't think we only had that one wreck, so I think things are going pretty good, and it's pretty fun out here.
Yeah, we had a lot of opportunities, but only the one wreck. Well, short run for us here. Congratulations, man. Let me get your shout-outs here so I can let you get back to it here before the stage is over.
Yeah, thanks to you guys in the booth. Thanks to Nitro Racing. And thanks to O'Reilly Auto Parts for sponsoring this race.
Hey, roger that. I'll let you get back to it, boss. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
That was Clayton Hoffman, ladies and gentlemen, your Stage 2 winner. And my prediction overall was, I look at it like this, Brian. These are all, you ever heard of the statement, Bebe's kids? These are all Clayton's kids, because he's got to school at least, you know, most of the drivers down there, right, at some point.
Oh, yeah. He definitely is taking most of these people to school. He's one of the best drivers, I think, if not the best driver we've, you know, in the ISCA. And he's putting it on display here tonight. Green flag is out as he kind of gets a really good launch there.
Yeah, he was not
away.
Had a lot of big problems there towards the middle to the rear of the field, Brian. A lot of drivers not getting off, trying to, you know, look in and see exactly who it was.
This is going to be definitely a scary, I think, bit of racing right here. I mean, there's going to be some guys that are going to be desperate to get to the front, to get track position if a caution comes out. There's going to be some guys as well that are going to be like, hey, I want to go for the long haul. I know that this is going to be a longer run, but if we get a caution, then it won't be such a longer run. So I think we're going to have a bunch of conflicts in strategy here.
Yeah, I agree, and I do know what the 92 strategy is. It's going to get out front and lead as many laps as he can. Now, for the other drivers, I think this is going to be that time in the stage where they can just kind of chill out, Brian, and just get back and let the car do what it do. This is the time to be trying to go fast. You should be now conserving, trying to actually make that mid-race point where you can actually come in to get your fuel, get your 4 tires, and try to put yourself in a position to win this thing.
For sure. I think this is definitely going to be, you got to nail the pit stops. I mean, that's something that, you know, we really haven't talked a whole lot about. I mean, pit road at this place is not particularly difficult to navigate, but it's going to be all about the timing of when you do it. And you can also, you know, lose a lot of time coming to pit road. You know, if you're a little too cautious, you're a little scared to get onto the brake, especially once the tires are really, really worn out. So that could be something we see. I see some drivers trying to run the absolute top line, driver like Greg Wachinski, trying to use that tippity top lane. Yeah, it's working for him. Look at the momentum you build on that top lane.
And that's also going to be your conservation lane, Brian. That's where I think you're going to do the most to save your tires and be able to make that long run. But, you know,
maybe. It just depends. I mean, really, I guess how you run that lane. Now, running the bottom lane, you're probably going to burn your front tires up more. Running the top lane, you're probably going to burn your rears up more. So it really just depends on how you're driving it as well. I mean, a lot of this racetrack depends on how you drive it. If you are really aggressive on getting back to your throttle, if you're sending it into the corner deeper than you should, that's going to cause premature tire wear. Whoa, we're getting really close. Great car. Very close, I do believe, to Chris Johnson. I'm glad we had that on camera. Ooh, that's tough. This is getting real close right here. Looks like Chris Johnson having some struggles out here.
It's getting really sporty down there, to say the least. But, as we're watching this, and you were mentioning just coming on Pit Road as we're halfway through this thing right now, so this will be about the time where you're actually starting to throw your rocks out there. But we witnessed Randy Mullins even go by his pit box just under that last stage break where there's really no pressure on you, and we saw exactly how that affected where he restarted. As a matter of fact, he's all the way back in 14th as a result of that.
Yeah, no, exactly. I was just getting ready to say, I mean, that mistake he had coming into his box, of course, I don't believe our audience was able to see that. If they were, he messed up bad. I mean, he slid through his box, had to kick it in reverse, and he lost a lot of positions because of it. And it's even more, I think, to your detriment if you made that mistake while we're green flag racing. If you have to spend any more time on pit road than you need to, that costs time on the track. And that could be the difference maker between you winning the race or finishing in 15th. It really could make that big of a difference on the racetrack. But Patrick Gitter right now in control. Clayton Hoppin has fallen back to now third place. As we're watching this battle, Paul Hill trying to work with Jose or work around Jose Acosta. Jose in that 42. We were wondering when the Acosta brothers are going to show up. Well, here's Jose. And, of course, you see Jeffrey Souza as well. I think Souza might have missed his box as well because he's back in 11th right now. Got to love Mark Sanchez back up in 9th right now. Love these camera angles as we look at the back end of the 42. Now, I think a lot of these drivers, though, have gotten kind of ready for the long haul. As Brandon Pasalaco, though, is starting to challenge for the lead. Here comes the 6 to the inside. He wants his fair share of the clean air. He hasn't had clean air yet tonight. He's trying to get it. For the most part, everybody else single file.
Yeah, you best believe he's going to try to get his way up front. Brandon is deserving to be up front. He's practiced this. This is the moment he's been waiting for. So now he can actually get out there and run a little bit. And I want to see just how long he stays out there.
If he can get there. That's the thing. I mean, Patrick has in a lot of ways been the gatekeeper for the lead. I mean, the only other person that has been able to really pass Patrick after he took the lead was Clayton. But we also got to remember, maybe did Gitter make an adjustment to the race car? Because he maybe was noticing some things about the handling of his car. Maybe made some adjustments. Could be the thing for sure. Also, do got to remember, another driver has entered the fray, Derek Heitman. We know Heitman's not a slouch. He's going to be up here battling in the top 5 as well. I mean, we have a star-studded top 10 right now. But there goes Brandon Pasalaco. He's riding around the bottom, running right on that yellow line, trying to make that work. And you can see that Gitter kind of runs a lane up. Interesting to note. I know whenever I was running, I did a few A Opens this week. Now, I didn't have a whole lot of success, but I tell you what, man, the best line that I found was the top lane. Now, these guys are running more towards the bottom. I find that interesting. Oh, problems. Jeffrey Souza around, and the yellow flag is out.
Souza definitely has been having a little bit of an issue here tonight. Doesn't seem like they brought the best handling car with them.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there, but Jeffrey Souza has gone around. Let's take a look and see what happened here. I think it might have been off of the front bumper of Jose Acosta. Let's take another look at it from maybe the far chase and get a little bit of a bird's eye view to see exactly what happened here. And I think Jose might have came up into him. We're going to see. Taking a look, you see Jose's riding the yellow line. He gets up the track. I think, well, yeah.
What?
I'd say Jose came up into the 96 there. I definitely don't think that was it was an accident. It was a racing incident. I think Jose thought Souza was going to be closer to the wall, and he wasn't. But you could clearly see the more movement out of the two cars was Jose Acosta. Jose had that upward momentum into the 96's rear, into his left rear, and unfortunately, that sends the 96 around.
The 42 he wrecked that 96. He didn't wreck him
100%.
bad.
He wrecked him bad. Interesting decision here from Clayton Hoffman. He stays out.
Why is that an interesting decision? I mean, that's why you call them strategies, you know. And I don't think you let other people dictate yours.
I mean, that's a 12-lap run. That stint was about 12 laps. That's enough, I think, for some significant enough tire wear. But then again, if we see another caution, then Clayton is looking like a genius.
Well, we've seen a lot of guys just throwing those Goodyears away, Brian. You know, remember, they only had the 6 sets with the set that was on the car. You know, so now you're looking at guys who've already stopped, 3-4 times for some drivers. So it gets a little, I mean, it's going to get a little interesting.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to run out of sets of tires eventually. I mean, that's a certainty that someone's going to run out of set of tires, and that's going to be someone that's not going to be happy.
Yeah, the bottom line is you're going to want to have that mystery set at the end, just because that last caution is going to come out, and you're probably going to get into that 10-lap shootout. So you definitely want to have a set saved for that.
I do want to mention that if everyone out there was able to make it 46 laps on a tank of gas, as our graphic does say, if that is even an accurate estimate, we still don't have enough gas to make it to the end of this race. Now, if we were to stay green, if we were to run green to the end here, everyone's going to have to come down pit road. And if we stay green here, the biggest loser is going to be Clayton Hoffman. Just considering he's going to be slower than everybody on the longer run because he has a 12-lap deficit on his tires. He's hoping for a caution. He's hoping for about 20 laps. I'm thinking Clayton's hoping for a caution in maybe about 15 laps or something like that.
We've seen it every time we stack these bad boys up on top of each other. They just seem to fall apart. So here we go, bunching them up again. I just don't see how we're going to have any other. I mean, I don't see how we're going to have different results than what we've already been given.
I don't know. Are we 2 cautions for cause now?
Yeah. We're right on me right now. We're on you guys owing me a whole ton of money.
When did we agree to that?
Yeah. Don't worry about that, guys. You can afford it.
I don't remember signing that. Signing that.
No, you made your legal mark. It's all good.
Did I? When did I do that?
Oh,
I signed for that package the other day. Didn't even realize it.
Let's get back to racing. Don't worry about it.
I'm kind of worried about it because I'm already out. The pace car lights are out. It's time to get this thing back underway, and I'll tell you what, it's been an exciting one here. I guarantee you some of the drivers down there aren't so as entertained as we are up here in the booth. I'm sure some of the guys down there are probably a little bit more irate and unhappy, irritable, if you will.
We keep stacking these things up right now, and like you said, we'll be 53 to go at the line. Pace cars will be getting up and out of the way. At some point, we're going to have to try to get some green flag laps in. I don't think we've actually made it through a whole stage. Well, we did make it through stage 2.
There goes the pace car down pit road. Clayton Hoffman on 12-lap old tires. Can he hold on to this lead as he's up through the gears? Team Conti all up on his keister right now. Of course, we see Derek Heitman and Patrick Gitter. Yeah, very good takeoff for Clayton. As we're seeing a big battle, though, Brandon Pasalacqua trying to fight with Heitman. Now, this has kind of been the story of the season. Heitman versus Pasalacqua, as they are fighting for third right now.
Yeah, Derek Heitman's definitely been having also a great season, man. You know, he just had a victory a couple weeks ago, I do believe.
Last week.
Was it last week? Yeah, I slept since then. Big Al.
I think, yeah, he won. I think he won at Richmond, if I'm not mistaken. I think he was the winner at Richmond, from what I recall. I could be wrong. I could be really wrong.
No, I believe you're right.
I'm trying to. Yeah, I think so. I mean, me and you both, and we've slept since then, so my memory's not what it once was.
I know I didn't win at Richmond.
I know I didn't either. Well, no, I did win at Richmond. I won because I got to call the race with you, Big Al.
Oh, look at you. You still owe me. Still owe me money. Clayton Hoffman's eating it done, though, guys. He is out front, which is what he was hoping that he could. He got to run off the start, and he's been able to defend his position. But here comes that old 21 car, and I think he's going to try to spoil Clayton's fun.
Oh, he definitely is. And I'm surprised Clayton's running these fast laps. I mean, 38.9 last time by. I mean, it's like he's not on old tires. I mean, but I will say that there are some guys that are running some faster ones. Brandon Passalacqua just turned his fastest lap of the race. Matt DeCiani just turned his fastest lap of the race. DeCiani has just entered the top 3 as well. Paul Hill, he's up in the almost top 5. He's right on, I do believe, 6th place right now. Mark Sanchez, he's up in 8th. I mean, we got a lot of drivers that are showing up in this top 5 and top 10.
Oh, yeah, it's time. It's almost time to start waking up. You know, you got to be committed. You got to be up front. I was just watching Jose and Abner, and they almost got a little bit of a kitsy-coo going there. I think Abner kind of checked up a little bit, but here they go. They're still running side by side.
Battle of the brothers.
Out.
This is the battle of the brothers.
Yeah, I think this is what you're going to see. Till about time those guys decide they're going to have to break that run in half, come down pit road. Some of the guys are probably going to go to the fatter end of that, you know, where they're going to want to have fresher tires for a shorter amount of time just so they can.
I do want to mention, I'm sorry to run you over there, but I want to mention Jose's got front end damage. You can see, I'm seeing that Jose has got damage, and I think that came from that contact with Jeffrey Souza earlier.
I'm going to go out on a limb because I know Jose's going to be listening to this, and I'm going to say he's probably hit more than just a Souza media bus.
Oh, no. But you see what I'm saying? Look at that front end damage. That thing is pretty beat up. No wonder Abner was able to pass him. But new leader, Patrick Gitter, I should say old leader, has returned to the lead as he's got it back. Patrick Gitter, of course, we ought to mention Patrick Gitter is a previous, or I should I say, reigning champion. He is the reigning champion of the ISCA Super Cup Series. He won last year's championship, and I think he's trying to do it again here.
Yeah, Clayton Hoffman, though.
Up second.
Yeah. Way to go, DeCiani up to second. But look at Clayton. He's already fallen back to 5th right now. Definitely feeling those older tires. Right now he's got 20 laps on them.
And one thing about it, though, Big Al, is we see this a lot in this next-gen car. You can be up front. You can be in the clean air on older tires, and it's not as noticeable. Like, the tire wear is not as noticeable. But as soon as you get past, as soon as you get into dirty air, then it becomes incredibly noticeable how bad your tires are compared to everybody else around you. I think clean air, in a lot of ways, equalizes that tire wear. But now I bet Clayton's feeling it even worse.
And, it's not just the tires that they change. They also clean those vents out as well, Brian. And that's also going to help those diffuser plates run better and the air flow through. So, yeah, pit stops are a little bit more than just fueling tires, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, they definitely clean your windshield. I know that. So I didn't know that they modeled all that here in iRacing where they clean the diffusers and stuff like that.
Yeah, we're working it. We're
okay. I hear you, Big Al. Matt DeCiani trying to track down Patrick Gitter. And, of course, Team Conti. We got something to be said about the Team Conti drivers. They have had a dominant season. I mean, any week you see these guys in competition here in the ISCA, you're probably going to see one of them in the lead.
Yeah, and if you don't see one of the Team Conti guys in the lead, someone's probably running a Team Conti setup somewhere. So, yeah, they're definitely plastered throughout.
They're very fast, and they deserve, a lot of credit. Very fast drivers, capable builder with Michael Conti. The guy definitely seems like he knows what he's doing. And of course, Clayton Hoffman, another really good builder for Nitro. You love to see these setup shops coming and duking it out here in the ISCA. This is kind of a proving ground for the setup shops.
And especially weeks like this, you know, when you get to places like Michigan, this is definitely going to be one of those, you know, run, tell all, who sold all, who's got the best setup.
Yeah, for sure. One driver I'm really looking at, though, that's doing really well, Mark Sanchez, up in that 8th place position. Sanchez, of course, we saw, I do believe, earlier in the season. He won at Daytona, if I'm not mistaken. And he looks like he's on track to maybe get himself a top 10 here tonight, trying to get some points.
Absolutely, Go Sanchez. And I don't think he's going to have too much trouble there because, I mean, if he can just keep his nose clean. Now, he is another new driver to the G&G crew. And, I mean, honestly, Ron, he's been kind of carrying the mail for those guys over there at G&G.
He's been one of the faster guys on that team. I will say that for sure. And one driver I've been surprised we haven't seen. We were talking about it the other day. I was hanging out with Paul Olson, and I was just like, you know, one driver we haven't seen in a while, J.C. Evans. And Paul was like, you're right. I don't know where J.C.'s been at. And he's just kind of been on hiatus a little bit, you know, from the G&G. He was one that was also a really fast driver.
He might have said some things that might have offended him and run him off. I'm sorry.
That's what I usually do. One of us usually says something offensive.
But I ain't never ended up on the hood of nobody's car, police or otherwise.
That's a good one, Big Al. That is a good one. That was a good one. I love that. That's funny. You're right. Yeah, I guess you haven't. That is 100% true. But I take it as an honor. It's an honor to me to be important enough to end up on the front of somebody's car.
Wow, you got quoted.
I'm telling you, that is hilarious. Clayton, though, I was thinking that he was going to start to feel the effects of those tires. It seems like he's kind of started to plateau a little bit, and has been able to hang on to the draft of Brandon Pasalakwa. The battle's starting to come together, though, for 6th place. I do believe Derek Heitman starting to put some pressure on Brian Johnson. Brian Johnson having a good race.
Yeah, speaking of good races, this is a great time to mention that should an unforeseeable caution come out, we would actually find ourselves capable of making it to the end of this thing on fuel.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point. It is very possible we could make it to the end of this thing on fuel.
So the fuel window, the pit window is officially now open.
And I'm looking back throughout the field, and I'm like wondering why some guys are so far back. Like I'm looking like Kendall LeVron, Ryan Huff. They're outside of the top 20 right now, and I'm like wondering why are they so slow? And then I look at their pit stop. Last time that the yellow came out, they took fuel only. Did not take tires, and that's why they're struggling a little bit when it comes to their speed. And I think they're just trying to save that set of tires, just in case we get those late race yellows.
Well, it's gonna matter, I'm telling you. Because look, not only do we gotta, this track is fast. I know we say that. We keep talking about it being like a super speedway, but drivers are going to have to make some decisions when they come down pit road. You know what I mean? It's about scrubbing that speed, but not losing too much of it. Then you got to get in, get clean, get out. Then you're going to have some guys going to even be debating on whether they take 2 tires or 4 tires. I mean, there's a lot of variables that are going to be going on here towards the end of this thing.
Yeah, no, for sure. There's still going to be a lot of decisions that are made. Whether you take 2 tires, I don't think you're going to take 2 tires on this big of a long of a run. It could be a possibility. We could see someone try to break that out. We'll see. I'd be curious to see that for sure. But I think for the most part, everybody's going to take 4. But, do you fuel it up all the way? Do you make adjustments to the race car? When do you pit is going to be a huge question as well. Because, we got to keep in mind, these guys got a huge window of, that you can maybe undercut. I'm of the mind, I think, that if you're in a desperate scenario, if you're back in 15th right now, I say undercut it. Undercut that way, you jump up some positions because you'll be faster. You got a second of fall off. If you jump in pit road before everybody get a couple laps in with a second or so faster lap, you gain that much time on the track.
You know what? I'm gonna throw out there and say I gotta go with a gaggle, man. This is a track that I do believe that is so draft centric. I don't think Kenny Powell's car is as crappy as it is. I think his car is as crappy as it is because he doesn't have anybody to fly with. Even geese fly in pairs of 2s or 3s. So that's going to be the same thing for me with the pit sequence. As long as I got a group of 2 or 3, I think I'll be safe to come in.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good idea. You know, at least have a couple with you. I think that is important. I mean, we talk about this being kind of like a super speedway. Then super speedways, of course, are draft dependent. Now, you don't want to be in the draft when you're in the corners, but yeah, when you're on these straightaways, you're going to want to have someone that you can cut the air through with and really make hay. And as well, you know, you're going to want that draft to save fuel. As Paul Hill into the wall just a little bit there, that could possibly open the door for Brandon Passalacqua to come alongside, and here he comes. Passalacqua was going to challenge for that third place position.
I'm just going to stay out and wait. I'm going to wait until somebody wrecks it. That's going to be my call.
I mean, that's also a good idea. That's what I was kind of saying. The overcut strategy can work. I've seen it work this week to where guys will stay out, a long time, and then they'll have fresher tires than everybody else, and they'll be able to chase everybody down and pass them like they're not moving. So, I mean, both strategies can work. Both strategies can work. The key is how you execute those strategies. That's the key. I mean, when it comes to a race, like a league like the ISCA where the competition is so high level, you have to perfectly execute. It doesn't matter what your strategy is or what it does, but it doesn't matter as much about your strategy. It just matters how you execute. If you execute and you don't do it perfectly, you're not as efficient as you could be, getting to pit road, or maybe you're not good at driving on the long run, you get loose, that's time you lose. So, I mean, it's all about being able to execute and knowing what you're doing, being confident in what you're doing. Confidence is a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to find ourselves into that shootout scenario because as these laps continue to take down, the one thing that we are aware of, and that is everybody's got to come to pit road. Like you said, no one's going to be able to make it through the end of this thing. And, man, give a shout-out to Leroy up in the flag stand. Weren't able to give him some time to get down there with Miss Wilhelmina tonight. He's actually been up in the stand the entire time, and he's still on call. Leroy!
Yeah, Leroy's just hanging out up there. We hope somebody will maybe send a hot dog up to him, to get him something to eat, maybe an icy or something like that. Paul Hill up into the wall. You see Clayton Hoffman getting a little bit loose on the exit of 4.
Leroy's requested a rib sandwich and some sweet tea.
They ain't got no rib sandwiches here in Michigan. We're in Michigan. You think they got sweet tea in Michigan? I don't think they do. I don't think they do. They probably got unsweet tea.
And that's why I'm calling this race from Alabama.
We can have sweet tea in South Carolina, Alabama. But I think now's a good time before we get to the pit stops. Let's go ahead and take a quick step away. We'll pay some attention to our sponsors. We'll be right back with more ISCA action.
O'Reilly.
It's O-Rewards Member Appreciation Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Stop in today and check out store-wide savings plus earn double points on over 225 items. It's our way of saying thank you. If you're not already a member, sign up today during O-Rewards Member Appreciation Month. It's fast, easy, and free. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You went, you served, and forged the relationships that only being baptized in the fire of combat can develop. At FallenVeteran.com, we understand the unique bond that veterans share. That's why we've created a platform where you can connect, share experiences, and build lifelong friendships with fellow veterans. Signing up is easy. Simply visit www.fall-in-veteran.com and create your profile. Customize it to reflect your military service, interests, and hobbies. FallenVeteran.com is more than just an online community. It's a support network where you can find resources, advice, and encouragement from those who understand what you've been through. Whether you're looking for camaraderie, mentorship, or simply a place to share your stories, FallenVeteran.com has it all. Join thousands of veterans who have already found their tribe and start connecting today. FallenVeteran.com. Come join us and experience The power of community. Sign up now at www.fall-in-veteran.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the ISCA Super Cup Series. We got green flag pit stops underway. Matt DeCiani has made his way to pit road. He's pitting, I do believe, from the top 5. So definitely looks like the floodgates have opened. I see John Benders coming down pit road. Here comes Patrick Gitter and Brandon Pasalakwa. Oh, a little bit of a wiggle there.
But not Clayton Hoffman.
And Clayton is like, this blows my mind because Clayton was keeping up with the top 5, actually had made a position up to 4th, even though he's on 12 lap older tires than these guys.
Yeah, he should be coming to pit road here pretty soon, unless he is just truly going to wait.
I think I saw somebody miss their box. Derek Heitman misses his box.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. That's just one of those unfortunate things because just there's no gimmies here, man. Pit road or otherwise, Clayton Hoffman's still not coming in. I'm starting to wish I would have asked him what his true strategy was once I had him on the microphone.
Yeah, that's definitely would have been a good question. I think that Clayton is doing an overcut strategy. I think he's just trying to make sure he's got newer tires later, possibly. We'll have to wait and see, but this is interesting. I mean, Clayton making a little bit of a crazy maneuver here. He is one of the only drivers that has stayed out. Most of the field has come down pit road. I do believe only 7 drivers still out there, as Chris Johnson's now coming to pit road. Here comes Clayton. Clayton is now coming to pit road. Oh, okay, did he was coming in really hot. I think he got it woe down in time, though.
He got it woe
25
down
laps
in
to
time.
go.
That's affirmative.
Jeffrey Souza, now new leader.
They did get it road down in time.
That's something you got to watch out for. You do not want to speed at this racetrack. Very easy to do considering the high speeds. You're going from 180, 190 mile an hour down to, I do believe, a speed limit of 55 at this racetrack. Jeffrey Souza out front. If you're just joining us, it's been quite a race here tonight at Michigan International in the ISCA. Of course, we saw stage 1, Randy Mullins able to pick up the victory. Clayton Hoffman was able to win stage number 2. And at the moment, Jeffrey Souza is in the lead. Of course, Souza has yet to pit. Also, I do believe Randy Mullins, Kendall LeVron, still out on the racetrack, have yet to pit as well. Paul Olson and Ryan Huff. And I do believe Huff actually is coming to pit road now.
Definitely making his way down. We're just seeing how these pit stop strategies are going to shake out with just some 23 laps remaining.
Yeah, this is definitely not shaking out well for some of these drivers because, like I think we talked about before the commercial break. You know, Huff, Kendall, those guys were guys that took a pit stop and only took fuel only. So they kind of, I don't know why they made that decision, but I mean they're laying in that bed right now, and unless a caution comes out and saves a driver like Kendall or saves a driver like Paul Olson, they're just going to have to lay in that bed and pretty much just deal with the consequences of making that decision. And you see a driver like Jeffrey Souza. He's got about 33 laps on his equipment right now. He does have quite a lead on Randy Mullins. About a 33. Yeah. I'm sorry, 21-second lead. But he still has to come down pit road.
And we also know what happens to these cars once you get plus 20 laps on your tires. These cars are completely different with plus 20 laps versus sub 20 lap old tires, right? I think that's where the speed barrier breaks down. So.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the tires are worn out quite substantially. I mean, you see drivers like the 54 of Randy Mullins, hitting a 41.8. That's very slow. That is a very slow lap. So he's struggling. I mean, and you see now Patrick Gitter has driven right by them on the newer tires. So even though those guys have stayed out, Patrick on speed alone has driven his way up to second place. And I got to be honest, looking at the charts right now, Big Al, Patrick is in the best spot to win this race. I mean, Patrick, looking at the gap between him and Randy Mullins, 1.5 seconds. Then you got about a half a second Paul Olson. And then you got the guys that are on the newer tires, Matt DeCiani, Paul Hill. I mean, I don't know if anybody's got anything for Gitter. Gitter has shown a remarkable pace throughout the entire run here tonight.
But here's the thing, though. With these guys being on different tire sequences, especially at a track like Michigan where it matters so much with grouping going into the corner, I mean, I think that's the one thing that's probably going to make this thing even a lot over into Kobe's favor. Just in, there is a high probability that we're going to have another caution before this thing's over.
Yeah, I mean, that is possible. Like you said, I think you are right that the difference in tires, kind of does lend to the possibility of a caution, considering you have different speeds because of those different tires, and it's hard to predict when someone is going to slow down in front of you, and it's easy to throw a bumper and not mean to. I do want to talk about Clayton Hoffman. Clayton is flying right now. He's on the newest tires right now, I do believe, in the field, in the top 5. He's flying right by DeCiani. He's flying by Paul Hill. He's flying by Derek Heitman. He's the only one, I think, that has a chance to maybe catch up to Patrick Gitter right now. We got to keep in mind, Gitter is not in the draft. And you've talked about that already. That makes you not as quick. Could that be the advantage that Clayton or Derek needs to catch up to Patrick Gitter?
That's why I'm saying it's very important to have that gaggle around you. This isn't a track where you just want to be out there by yourself. It's just not. It's not healthy. It's not conducive. And now you got somebody, with the likes of Clayton Hoffman kind of breathing down your neck. That can't feel good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Clayton's essentially pushing Derek Heitman down the racetrack. I mean, he's pushing him down the straightaway. Yeah, trying to get him to catch up to Patrick Gitter.
Absolutely. He doesn't want to waste time racing Heitman at this point because that's counterproductive. He needs to stay in line and just keep pushing him, and they'll get that. Well, never mind. Shut up, Big Al.
Yeah.
Help him to the inside.
I think Clayton also, there he goes. Now he gets back to the back bumper. You see Derek. Derek's trying to break the draft. So these guys are not working together. And I agree, Big Al. I think that would be the best thing to do if I was in Clayton's shoes. But then again, Clayton's probably thinking, I'm on newer tires than Derek Heitman. My car is working better right now than his. So it's like I want to be in front of him. And he can push me.
If I had fresher tires, I'd definitely be out front.
But we'll see how this all works out. I mean, the battling is starting to heat up for these positions. Of course, Jeffrey Souza is still out there. But look at this. Clayton driving it all the way down onto the apron to try to get this pass completed. Does he get it done? And he does. Wow, look at the momentum
Derek.
Clayton's able to carry.
Yeah, but look at what happened to the 76 right there. Drove it in just a little bit hard. We start talking about bending those angles, and that's exactly what happens. It bounces back, and now he's just lost a ton of momentum.
Yeah, he did. And this is a momentum track. This is the definition of a momentum track. And unfortunately, he lost that momentum. It's now back to 5th place.
Yeah, you got to run your own line. You know what I mean? You cannot deviate from your line.
But now Clayton, free to let those horses gallop, is going to try to catch Patrick Gitter. He's going to have now 13 laps when we cross the line to do it. Can he make it happen? Last time by 38.822 versus Patrick Gitter 39.022. That is exactly 0.2 difference there in their lap times. Now, if that continues, I think he'll be able to do it. I'm not very good at math, so please, please be.
Well, you started that damn math equation. That's on you, Bubba.
I'm just saying, I think it's possible he could catch him. I mean,
look, when you start talking about 0.2 of a second, 13 laps, and 2 1/4, I ain't pulling my shoes off. Forget that.
Don't be counting toes in here, Big Al. It stinks enough in this room. This
I'm
booth.
just saying. No.
I mean, we got Kobe with his shoes off. We can't have Big Al with his shoes off too.
Yeah, that's just too much. That's just that's different levels of mathematication right there is what that is.
Mathematication. Isn't that just too funny? Well, Clayton is continuing to reel him in. And one thing we got to keep in mind, though, is Clayton is going to get a sniff of the draft of Patrick Gitter eventually. And I think that's going to help him in a lot of ways. As you can see, that the lap times are continuing to weigh in the favor of Clayton Hoffman. Clayton is continuing to reel in Patrick Gitter. But we do see Kenny Powell lap car. Does he impact this progression, this progress? I don't think so. Looks like Kenny's going to stay out of the way. And now 1.6 seconds is the gap between Patrick Gitter. This is going to come down to the wire, ladies and gentlemen. This is the race for the win. Does it stay green? I think is the main question that is on my mind. If it stays green, this is going to be a very razor-thin race for this win. Two titans. These are that, and I mean that, titans of the ISCA. Patrick Gitter and Clayton Hoffman. I mean, they are arguably the best drivers in this series.
With 10 laps to go, don't you think Clayton would want me to go ahead and throw that old caution flag out there for him?
I don't think he wants you to. I don't think he wants you to.
We could say debris on the racetrack or something.
I don't think he wants you to throw it because he's catching Patrick. I think he wants to do this thing the old-fashioned way. I know one driver that wants a caution, though, Jeffrey Souza. I bet he wants a caution.
With 10 laps to go, I'm pretty sure everybody could use one, but we're hoping that it does stay green on this thing. Just watching this thing unfold. You still got Jeffrey Souza out front. He's got Patrick Gitter by some 9.5 seconds. Gitter still holding Clayton Hoffman. That margin now down to 1.2 seconds. So Hoffman's getting closer to Gitter than Gitter's getting to Souza.
Do you hear I hear the Jaws theme. We do have to remember, Jeffrey Souza has 46 laps on his equipment. He can't. There's no way. There's no way. Now, if he does, I'll tell you what, I will be shocked.
I would just say that Kenny is from a totally different part of North Carolina than I'm from. So
they gave him a lot of gas. Apparently, they gave him an extra gas tank. But now the gap down to almost 1 second. Can Clayton close the distance? 7 laps to go. What a race. What a race this has been.
Now,
we've seen our fair share of tragedy and drama in this race. Mm-hmm. We've seen 3 wide, 4 wide, even possibly 5 wide here tonight.
Well,
and we've also seen green flag stops.
I will witness that. But you know,
what else are we going to see?
I'm going to go back, though. I'm going to reach deep into my spirituals on this one, and I'm going to say, Clayton, It's one thing to catch him, but it's a totally different thing to pass him. And I think that's what Clayton Hopkins is going to run into. He is indeed running down Patrick Gitter, but we've definitely seen the difficulty of making those passes, especially once you got, more than 20 laps on your tires. And I think that's going to be a situation that he's in. So we're going to be watching this one close as well.
And already, look at that. Well, Patrick trying to break the draft. He's like, no, I do not want to help him catch me. Clearly, he's like, no, stay away. Stay away.
Mr. Huff is on pit road during the 96 car.
You mean Jeffrey Souza?
Jeffrey Souza, sorry. Your leader, Jeffrey Souza.
And that is expected. I mean, he was on like 90. He was almost on 50 laps on his fuel run. I'm surprised he made it as far as he did, to be completely honest.
I think he was waiting on the caution.
He was. I think he exactly was waiting on that. But now Patrick Gitter versus Clayton Hoffman. Can Patrick hold him off?
I think so. I really think so.
Yeah?
We're 5 laps into this thing. Clayton might have enough just to squeeze the juice out to get to his bumper, but I don't think he's going to have enough to actually get around him.
We're going to see. We're going to find out. Can he get I think the draft is going to be if Patrick can somehow not let Clayton get some of his draft, that's going to be the difference maker. But yeah, I think it's possible that Patrick does hold him off. Here you go. See, right there. He's trying to not give him the benefit of the draft down the straightaways. And that's exactly what Patrick's got to do.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't fault him one bit whatsoever. 5 laps.
He can't give anything to Clayton because Clayton is so close.
Another thing that we're going to have to keep an eye out for, usually our wrecks don't occur, up in the top 5. They're usually way back somewhere 18th, 19th position, so.
You're 100% right. You're 100% right. Big Al with the facts here tonight. Can Patrick Gitter hold him off? It's coming down now. 3/10 separate these two drivers. Coming up to 3 laps to go. This is going to be a dog fight. This is going to be possibly even a photo finish here tonight. As they're coming up on lap traffic. See Matthew Cisna. Will they impact the finish here? I hope not. As we see, I do believe that is Kendall LeBron going up the track to get out of the way. Good on him. Does not want to impact the finish here.
We're still just outside of that safe window, though, Brian. We won't be safe until the white flag comes out.
And you can see there's more lap traffic ahead. Randy Mullins in that pink race car.
Gitter's just looking at his rearview mirror now, slowly just being filled up by the lime green of the 92 Camry of Clayton Hoffman. 2 laps to go.
And this is going to be close. I mean, he's there. He is in striking distance now. It's just going to be all about, like you said, it's one thing to catch him. It's another thing completely to actually make the pass happen.
He is doing just that, Brian. It's now you can show it to the inside, but you got lap traffic everywhere. It looks like it's Christmas. It's like Black Friday on the racetrack.
I think Clayton might have it. Does he get it? He's a little bit tight.
Get us going high. Clayton's going to stay low. Coming by the grumpy grandpa.
White flag is out.
This is going to be the final lap.
Who is going to get it? Both of these drivers have led a bunch of laps here tonight. Patrick Gitter has, I think the most desirable lane. I'd rather be up there. As you can see, Clayton drops in behind him.
Yep, definitely going to try to get that momentum of a draft with a little bit of a crossover here.
Here we go. Final set of corners. Clayton slides the tires. Could that be all said and done because he slid those tires? I think it is. Patrick Gitter will defend, and he will win this race. What a job.
Gets it done again.
After all of that work. Clayton he caught up to him, almost had him passed, but Patrick was able to defend against the charge from the 92.
Definitely didn't see
What a
that one coming. Well, yeah, we did. We saw it coming from 15 laps ago, just to come all the way back and play out on the final lap. We got cars wrecking, though, still tearing stuff up. I mean, what do we expect here?
Yeah, I think I see Chris Johnson and Mark Sanchez wrecking. Of course, this is after the checkered. Race is official. But let's go down through let's watch Patrick celebrate this victory, and then we'll go down through the running order. There he is, celebrating it. He beat one of the best, Clayton Hoffman. And, of course, Patrick, one of the best himself. So, definitely just a hugely competitive race here tonight, as he's going to put a big old rubber mark on that front stretch.
Well, congrats to everybody into the top 10 of this race here tonight, man, because this was one of those performances that's nothing short of epic.
Well, let's go down through the running order, see exactly where everybody finished at here this evening. Patrick Gitter, your winner here tonight by only about a tenth and a half on Clayton Hoffman. Derek Heitman finishes in third. Matt DeCiani fourth. Brandon Pasalacqua, yet another top five. Paul Hill finishes sixth. Brian Johnson in seventh. Josh Schaffner eighth. Greg Carr, very impressive run to him, ninth place. Mark Sanchez finishes 10th.
Greg Wojcinski in 11th. Tim Wortman Jr. brings it home in 12th. Abner Acosta comes home in 13th. Chris D. Johnson coming home in 14th. Jay Home runs in 15th. 44. Randy Dremhuller 16th. 17th place is Jose Medina. 18th, Jose Acosta. 19th, Jeffrey Souza. Matt Susna rounds out your top 20.
Ryan Huff finishes 21st. 22nd, John Bender. 23rd, Nick King. Paul Olson, 24th. Derek Jacobs in 25th. Randy Mullins in 26th. 27th, Jason Maines. 28th, Kendall Levron. 29th, Kenny Powell. And 30th, Alexander Carr. And with that, that's a look at our top to bottom at our 30-car field. We're going to take a step away. We'll come back and we'll talk to our top three finishers.
O'Reilly.
It's O-Rewards Member Appreciation Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Stop in today and check out store-wide savings, plus earn double points on over 225 items. It's our way of saying thank you. If you're not already a member, sign up today during O-Rewards Member Appreciation Month. It's fast, easy, and free. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You went, you served, and forged the relationships that only being baptized in the fire of combat can develop. At FallInVeteran.com, we understand the unique bond that veterans share. That's why we've created a platform where you can connect, share experiences, and build lifelong friendships with fellow veterans. Signing up is easy. Simply visit www.fall-in-veteran.com and create your profile. Customize it to reflect your military service, interests, and hobbies. FallInVeteran.com is more than just an online community. It's a support network where you can find resources, advice, and encouragement from those who understand what you've been through. Whether you're looking for camaraderie, mentorship, or simply a place to share your stories, FallInVeteran.com has it all. Join thousands of veterans who have already found their tribe and start connecting today. FallInVeteran.com. Come join us and experience the power of community. Sign up now at www.fall-in-veteran.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the ISCA Super Cup Series. If you're just joining us, I hope you're not just joining us because you just missed a stellar race here. 250 miles, 125 laps here at Michigan International Speedway. And, of course, we saw some thrilling passes, but we saw, of course, Patrick Gitter able to hold off a charging Clayton Hoffman for the win on the last 5 laps. We're going to go ahead and talk to our top 3. Derek Heitman, of course, going to be our first driver we're going to talk to, who finished in 3rd place. Derek, man, what a good showing for you as well. How are you feeling? Do you feel disappointed? What's going through your mind?
I'm not disappointed at all. It was my first laps of the week, jumping in and just racing. I think it's kind of being an advantage to me not learning any bad habits running A opens. So I guess to be able to come away with a P3, I don't have any complaints about that at all.
I know you were kind of doing some battling yourself. I kind of, while we were under commercial, you kind of had a little bit of a conversation with Clayton Hoffman about when you guys were racing. What was going on there? Do you think you could have done anything differently when you were racing with him?
Oh yeah, I could have not double shifted. when him and I were side by side entering 1, I drove it in extremely deep, and then I was trying to just pop it into 4th and drive off really good to stay next to him, and I accidentally shifted twice. So then I lost a ton of speed and momentum, of course, and had to, I think I wound up behind Paul there, so I had to redo it again and try to come back up. So to my demise, but I don't think I had anything for him anyways. I finished right where I was supposed to, so.
Yeah, we definitely saw that loss of momentum, and I didn't think it was, to have something to do with shifting. I thought you just maybe had gotten tight, trying to drive it in really deep. But, of course, we definitely got a little bit of some information, some clarification on what happened there. So we're glad that you were able to give that to us, Derek. Of course, you definitely ran really well here tonight. Do you think, qualifying better would have helped you at all?
Nah. I just, again, first laps of the week, I just, again, wanted to qualify, get my car out there. The first 2 stages, I really just played the tire save game just to see kind of like how it would work out, because I wanted to try to learn something. So I raced in the pack a little bit and had a wreck happen right in my windshield. But I mean, you know what they say, the race isn't interesting if you run up front the whole time.
Yeah, definitely. There was a lot of things to watch out for out there, for sure. We saw some 4 wide and 5 wide out there, so I'm sure you had a really good view of a lot of that. Next week, we're going to be going to Daytona. Now, of course, this track at least requires some sort of resource management when it comes to tire saving. Daytona, you really don't see a whole lot of tire saving there. What are you expecting?
I expect the Team Connie guys to be hooked up and pulling the field, so hopefully we can make those few wishes come true and have another strong showing next week.
All right, we're definitely looking forward to seeing what you guys pull out for sure. It's definitely going to be a team race for sure, Derek. Who can we shout out?
Shout out Michael Gonzi for giving us a really good setup this week. Like I said, I was just able to plug the thing in and go, so that was really nice. Shout out my teammates, Matt, Pat, Paul, for racing tonight. Randy for being a good cheerleader in the Discord. He did a good job. And shout out Clayton. Clayton was really fast. Shout out the league for being clean. I mean, other than that one big wreck we had, it was a relatively clean race. So I do want to apologize to Matthew Cisna because he came up on the radio and said, hey, let me know when you're ready to go by me. And then the very next corner, I accidentally fenced him. So I got to apologize to him for that. And thanks to you guys for putting on a good broadcast every single week. Kenny for putting on the league. And hopefully we can continue on.
All right, Derek, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
All righty, that was Derek Heitman, driver of the 76. Now Clayton Hoffman is going to be standing by with Big Al.
Hey, Clayton Hoffman, Big Al up in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, once again, boss, you're getting it done down there. You came out here tonight, qualified on the pole, man, and just didn't quite have enough at the end. But let's talk about your pit strategy there. Once that accident happened there at the beginning of the 3rd stage and everybody pitted except for Mr. Hoffman, why don't you explain that to us all the way through the end of the race?
Yeah, I definitely should have pit there. Yeah, I don't know. I had 2 sets of tires left, and I chose not to pit, thinking if we get a worst case scenario where we get a caution with like 10 to go, and we get a caution about 10 to 15 laps, I'd be looking at I'd be out of tires and I have to make a choice there. And yeah, I put myself in a bad situation, and thankfully I was fast enough to hang up with the lead pack draft. And then when it came time for green flag stops, I didn't anticipate the track getting as cool as it did, so my car got really tight, and I really couldn't drive it as hard as I needed to get up there faster. I mean, when you try to slide job, you got to be able to enter the corner, and I definitely was. I felt like I was a bit of a disadvantage there, but I could carry a good amount of speed, and I had a really good drive off. But yeah, by the time I got up to Patrick, my tires were all overheated. I crossed the seam and threw him forward, just broke loose twice, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah, so did the car handle as well as you did in terms of your long runs? Sorry, excuse me, because that track temperature you mentioned it did drop almost 20 degrees. So how was your car handling in the long run?
It's kind of weird. Like, I felt like I was wearing a lot looser than what I actually was. My guess was that it was really just like the wind direction. So I think it took me like the first 2 stages just to kind of figure out what was going on there. Because I hadn't dealt with the wind direction that we had in that race. So it was like I was really tight, center 1 and 2 compared to normal, and then I was really loose when I tried to get on the throttle off of 4. So yeah, I definitely was confused there for a little bit, but overall handled really good. Like I said, I had to drive off long run compared to some of these other guys.
Indeed, you did. Next week we head on out to Daytona. Not a lot of work going into that one, but what are you hoping to get out of Daytona next week?
You cut out there. But Daytona's it's a big old draft track. I mean, it's gonna be, it's not gonna be how fast your individual car is. It's gonna be who you work with, when you work with them, and yeah, just where holes open up if you're trying to crisscross, applesauce your way up to the front. Generally in ISCA, in historic fashion, a lot of the times a lot of guys like to ride and go single file, so I don't know. I don't have any idea how it'll play out, honestly. I'll just do what I can to try and qualify in the best position and figure it out from there.
Roger that, boss. Thank you for your time. Congratulations on your second place finish tonight. Who you shouting out?
Shout out to Patrick and all the guys I was battling with all night. It was a lot of fun. Shout out to you guys in the booth. Shout out to Kenny for putting on the league still, and shout out to O'Reilly Auto Parts for sponsoring the race, and shout out to Nitro Racing.
Roger that. As I always say, don't party too hard, and we'll see you on the podium next week, hopefully.
Alrighty, that was Clayton Hoffman, driver of the 92 machine, qualified on the pole and finished in second place. Of course, the next driver we're going to talk to, Patrick Gitter, started in 10th place, and I tell you, he was a rocket ship from the green flag. I mean, you drove your way up to the top 5 within just a couple laps, Patrick. I mean, it seemed like you just unloaded the hauler with a insanely quick setup. I mean, how was that car feeling for you tonight?
Yeah, I appreciate that, Brian. It was good all night. I mean, it was especially good on the kind of medium run. I mean, when we had some longer runs, I was definitely fighting something that was a little bit looser than I was comfortable with, so I was having to kind of adapt once I got a feel for how it was going to wear, 30 laps in, 35 laps in with the track conditions we had. So definitely had to adjust a little bit, but I mean, short to mid-run, we were fantastic. So was really happy with it and how it played out.
Now, tell us what was going through your mind when Clayton was kind of tracking you down. I mean, I know you had to have seen, he's catching me a 10th here, he's catching me a 10th here. You probably were doing some math in your head. Walk us through that.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be close. I was looking at the relative to see, what the delta was on times, and I knew that he was going to get to me right around, 1 lap to go or on the last lap, and Clayton had the best long run car. I felt, from what I had seen, I saw earlier in the race where in the longer runs he really had an advantage. So I got kind of lucky there at the end, and we had that that pit stop around lap 98 and came out of the pits and saw I was going to be able to get I don't know, second and a half on the other guys that had pit with me, just on how pit stops played out. And I just thought, man, I'm just going to turn this thing loose and hope it'll absolutely kill my tires. And that was the difference. I knew Clayton was going to have the long run, and it was just going to be a matter of, was my short to mid run car going to be good enough to hold off his long run car?
And it seemed like it was. I mean, of course, Clayton did kind of charge your inside, and it seemed like he had some sort of handling condition where we saw the tires kind of smoke up a little bit there. So it definitely seemed like, just a little bit of a mistake could have made things completely different. But still, you were able to defend against him. And, how does that make you feel momentum-wise? I know you're, of course, reigning champion. You won championship last year. Is that kind of the mindset now? Like, hey, I got to try to go back-to-back? Or what does this race do for you momentum-wise?
It's definitely a boost. I mean, last week was a rough week at Richmond. Didn't finish the race, and I feel like it's been a while since I've been able to pull a win out of the bag. So it came at the right time as we're getting close to the playoffs. I'm excited about that. This league is getting harder and harder to to win races in, just with the competition and the guys that are in here, and the guys that have been in here for a year or two have gotten a lot better. So competition's good, and I got to give a shout out. You mentioned it, Brian. I saw that Clayton did kind of get a little bit loose there. I think it was we were coming to 1 to go in 3 and 4, and Clayton's such a respectful racer, and I saw that he had kind of lifted a little bit to gather the car up. I mean, there's plenty of other guys, not in this league, but just in general, that wouldn't be considerate enough to do that. So I got to give him a shout out.
Yeah, that's one thing that I think the ISCA has over a lot of other series, or the officials for sure, is that, you see that respect. Now, of course, not everybody has that respect, but a lot of the drivers in this series do. And, you just love to see it. And I think that's what leads to ISCA being one of the cleanest leagues. So I'm right there with you, Patrick. And, Clayton, a very respectful and clean driver. But just a fantastic run for you here tonight, man. I mean, you led 60 laps. You seemed like you just had a very dominant race machine. What are you thinking about Daytona next week? I know the Team Conti, you guys are a team. It's in the name. Do you think that's going to benefit you?
Yeah, I think so. We've had some pretty good history at the plate tracks this year, and we've really made a good bit of improvement to the plate cars that we bring. So I'm looking forward to it. Daytona's a bit of a gamble anytime you load in, but I'm looking forward to it, especially with this group on Thursday night. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Well, we're definitely looking forward to it as well, Patrick. Who can we shout out after this phenomenal win here tonight at Michigan?
Yeah, you guys in the booth for calling the race, Kenny for running this great league. Shout out to Clayton again. Very respectful racing, hard and competitive racing, and a few laps longer race could have turned out different. So good run for him, and Derek as well with the P3. Derek ran a great race. He had good pace all night, especially for loading in without a lot of seat time in races. So shout out to him and our teammates, Team Conti Sim Performance, for giving us a great set this week. Martin PC, Seminario Designs, and I will look forward to seeing you guys next week.
All righty, thanks for your time. We'll see you next week.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Brian.
All righty, that was Patrick Gitter, driver of the 21 machine. Definitely a really awesome performance here tonight from him and all the top three. I mean, really everybody. I mean, finishing in the top 10. I want to give a shout out to, of course, driver like Greg Carr, finishing in 9th, had some really good speed, started 8th, finished 9th. Got to give him a lot of credit for that, for sure. We're glad to see some other drivers make their returns here tonight, such as Kendall LeBron. We were glad to see him. But, man, what a race here tonight, Big Al. I mean, I tell you, I think we saw about everything. We saw green flag stops. We saw big wrecks. I mean, we got to see everything.
We had 4 wide, 5 wide. They had a little rib action up in the stand at Sweet Tea in Michigan. Yeah, it was a heck of a race, man. Thanks for drivers coming out. They put on a heck of a show here. Thanks for Kobe being behind the scenes. Awesome production. Kenny, you're the man for having this beautiful place for us. And all of the drivers, man, once again, thank you guys and your families for giving you time to come out here and actually put on a show for us. And Brian, I mean, you're welcome. That's all I got.
Thank you, Big Al. Thank you. Big shout out to you for always making it so much fun to call these races for sure. Of course, Kobe, I ditto that. He did a fantastic job behind the cameras, of course, hunting out everything. We're like, hey, I want to see this. And he just tries to find everything that we want to see. So we appreciate him tolerating us for sure. And Kenny, of course, for just putting on such a fantastic league. I mean, this is one of the best, I think. It's one of the best leagues on iRacing, and you just see unadulterated content, unadulterated competition, I think is the best way to put it for sure. I mean, these guys just race with respect. It's always clean. It's always green. And you're going to see the best of the best go head-to-head. I mean, pretty much the best of the best that are not actually pros. But, I mean, hey, they could be, probably. But I'll tell you, it's just been so much fun. We definitely appreciate everybody out there tuning in. Of course, you at home that are watching, you are very important. Please like and subscribe. Share our content. We'd love to, of course, have that. We'd love for people to engage. Comment down below for sure. But thanks for watching. Make sure you tune in next time. We're going to be at Daytona, and that's going to be exciting. We're going to be probably hitting 200 mile an hour there in a pack of possibly 2 wide. I mean, hopefully we won't see single file racing the whole time, but I mean, it could happen. But I don't know. I think iRacing has definitely adjusted on the package quite a bit, but the race will be starting, or should I say the broadcast itself will be about 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The race itself will go green a little after 9:30, so make sure you're there. You don't want to miss it. Of course, we're getting closer and closer to the playoffs, and could we see someone sneak in a win that we don't expect to see a win? I think it's very possible for sure. So make sure you're here. Don't miss it. We'll see you then. This has been the ISCA Super Cup Series. We'll see you next time.
I found the ISCA after I'd been in the service for a long time. I'd been in iRacing for well over a decade and spent most of my time in NASCAR series, a lot of fixed racing for the most part, and really just got to a point in my iRacing career where I really wanted to get involved in open setup racing versus fixed, partially because I was just looking for a little higher level of competition, maybe a little cleaner driving, and maybe get away from some of the challenges that go along with fixed racing on the service. And it took me a while as I was really searching out leagues, because I kind of had a very specific thing I was looking for. A, I wanted to be an established league. B, I just really wanted clean, quality drivers to be racing around. And once I found the ISCA, I found out really quick that it was going to check all those boxes.